What a beautiful generation. What beautiful speeches. It leaves you speechless. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Excuse me, that was yesterday's speech. There we go. Honorable members of the Board of Trustees, Honorable Mr. Pratt and faculty and staff of the Manoukian High School, honorary guests, family and friends of the graduating class of 2018, and most importantly, graduates of the class of 2018, give yourself a roaring round of applause because you did it! You did it! I am immensely proud of you guys, and you guys should be immensely proud of yourselves because today is that day. As Naira said, today is that day. It is the result of 12 long years of hard work, of sleepless nights and countless classes and courses and tests and papers. It is your day. It is your graduation day, and you have earned every right to live it up, to party hard tonight, to enjoy yourselves to the max, and be proud of yourselves because you deserve it. Because you did it. A month or so ago, I get a call from Dr. Silva Karayan of the Board of Trustees, extending the board's invitation to me to be this year's keynote speaker at the Commencement Exercises. And while she extends this invitation, I hear this voice in my mind whispering into my ear, OMG, me? A commencement speaker? What an immense honor. And then when we hang up, it finally hits me. Me? A commencement speaker? Have I really gotten that old? I mean, when you think of a commencement speaker, you think of someone in the position to impart pearls of wisdom and advice. I do hope sincerely that the lack of hair on my head has not been confused for an abundance of wisdom of what lies within it. It was only 15 years ago that I myself was in your seats waiting for my own graduation from high school in Armenia. But it seems like yesterday. Because time flies. Time flies, and so we rush. We rush to get out of high school and get into college. We rush to get into college to get a degree. We rush to get a degree to get a job. We rush to get a job to get money. And all this while we rush to get successful. And that's great and that's perfect because hard work always pays off and ambition is a virtue. But what I take issue with is that while we rush to be successful, we often subscribe to this cliche but often debunked conviction that there is only one path to success, that there's only one way of achieving success, that there's this magical formula that if you follow and you must follow it, that only then will you be successful. That is not true. That is so not true. I thought it was true. That is not true. And I learned it the hard way, and I want to share my story about it. You see, in law, there's this thing called the first law degree. As the name implies, it is the first law degree that you would obtain as a future aspiring lawyer. Here in the US, it's known as the JD, the Juris Doctorate. It is also known as the LLB, the Bachelor of Laws in Europe. But ask anyone who knows anything about the legal career, and almost invariably, they will tell you that you absolutely must have a first law degree to become a lawyer. Here comes the punchline. I am a lawyer. I am a lawyer in Armenia and in California. I do not have a first law degree. I do not hold a JD. Neither do I hold an LLB. I graduated high school, I got into college, I got my BA in political science from Yerevan State. I went on to study at the American University of Armenia, and I was putting together my law school application for the JD, subscribing to that magical formula that I have to have a JD to become a lawyer. The law school application, very much like the college application, has a number of components. There's your essays, your letters of recommendation, your accomplishments, so forth. And I was putting together a killer law school application. To put it in slightly more millennial terms, I was gonna #slay. My college grades, 4.0 GPA. I have aced all of my courses 4 years straight. My admissions exam, the law school admission test, I have scored top 5% nationwide. Letters of recommendation, well, They're from my employer, who was a Harvard Law School alum and the dean of the law school at the American University of Armenia. From my college thesis supervisor, who was also the deputy foreign minister of Armenia, and one of my instructors, who was the deputy justice minister of Armenia, all A-level, top-notch individuals. I made sure that when it came to my accomplishments, the admissions committee knew that a while back I had gotten into undergraduate programs at the University of Pennsylvania, Cornell University, both Ivy League schools, and the University of Southern California, but I eventually did not go because at the time I was 15 years old. And as to my personal statement, you see, in a law school application setting, the personal statement is your opportunity to shine as an individual, to show who you truly are, to stand out as an applicant. It's expected to be somewhat of a story, dramatic, dynamic. Story? My personal statement was not a story. Mine was a movie. Mine was a movie straight out of the creative mind of Christopher Nolan, based on true events. And I want to tell you guys about this. It's the first time I'm sharing this publicly. Through the words of my personal statement, I invite the members of the admissions committee to join me as I sit in the office of the Deputy Vice President of Yerevan State University on a cold spring afternoon. The Deputy Vice President had called me the day prior, asking me to visit him in his office the next day after class to discuss student exchange opportunities. Come the next day, I visit him in his office. I see him standing next to the window, and I see a man in that room, a man I do not know and I do not recognize, seated at the table. I take a seat in front of him, and this man with a sinister twinkle in his eye and a smirk on his face looks at me and asks, Stepan, du uzum es che avortel study? Stepan, you do want to graduate this year, don't you? It quickly appears to me that I have been tricked into this meeting, and this man sitting across me is no regular man. He is a KGB officer who is particularly interested in my political activities. It's the year 2008, a presidential election year for the Republic of Armenia. Elections have been held, and massive public rallies have inundated the streets of Yerevan. This is 2008, and I'm a staunch opposition supporter, and a very active one. It occurs to me that my text messages have been read, my phone has been tapped into, and I was being followed. And this man sitting across me refuses to believe that a youth organization that my friends and I have founded is actually our brainchild, and not the brainchild of one of the leaders of the opposition, then a journalist by the name of Nikol, today the Prime Minister of Armenia, Mr. Khzrtian. This man sitting across me ignorantly stands up, looks to me and says, listen, if you want to graduate this year, you shut down this organization. Not in a week, not tomorrow. Today you shut it down. And he steps out of the room. My friends and I graduate that year. We do not shut down the organization. That organization actually, named HENC, Հայ երիտասարդ նոր քաղաքացիներ, or Armenian Young New Citizens, goes on to become a 5,000 follower strong worldwide network serving the Republic of Armenia. So this was my law school application. Near perfect. I had worked on it for months. I had wrote it, edited, honed it, polished, perfected it, and I sent it off to 8 law schools. And I waited. And I waited. And waited. And then one day I get an email. It's from one of the law schools. Click, I open it up. Dear Stepan Khzrtian, we regret to inform you. We regret to inform you. That's the nightmare, right? At that point, it doesn't make any sense reading further. I mean, if the first word isn't the blaring congratulations, you know you're screwed. I mean, my heart sinks, of course, is disappointing, but I thought to myself, it's only one of 8 applications. I'll let this one slide, and slide it did. A week passes by, I get the second email. Dear Stepan Khzrtian, we regret to inform you. And then the third email, we regret to inform you. The fourth, we regret to inform you. Fifth, we regret to inform you. Sixth, we regret to inform you. Seventh, we regret to inform you. Eighth, we regret to inform you. I had been an A-level achiever my entire life, and here I was with 8 painful rejections in my hands. My ego was bruised and wounded and crushed. To say I was devastated would be an understatement. And I was so done with law school. I was so done with law school. I was rethinking my career as a lawyer. I was not going to go through this again. Months passed, and possibly under a spur of youthful ignorance and stubbornness, I decided to give it another shot. But only for one purpose and one purpose only, to prove to myself that I can do it. That if I put my mind to it, I can get into law school. But at this point, I'm sure that I'm not going to practice law. I'm not going to study law. I tell myself, even if I get in, I'm not going to go. All I want to do is prove to myself that I can. So instead of JD degrees, I look at LLM degrees. An LLM is a Master of Laws program, also known as a second law degree. You can't practice law with an LLM without a JD. So I put together my application for the LLM in the course of a week or two, definitely not the months of investment I put into my JD application, and I send it off. I send it off to only one school, the University of Cambridge, and I forget about that application because frankly, I didn't care about it much. One day I'm in my office, I'm in front of my computer working, and I get an email, a notification from the University of Cambridge. Click. Dear Stepan Khzrtian, congratulations, you have been accepted at the University of Cambridge. I did not believe it. I did not believe it. No, seriously, it was April 1, April Fool's Day, and I was genuinely thinking that my friends are playing a prank on me. I pick up the phone, I call my folks, Mom, Dad, I got into Cambridge. They were so happy. I let them enjoy the moment, and then I break it to them. But yeah, I'm not gonna go. Just so you know. There was a very awkward silence. And then I hear the truest words I had ever heard in my entire life. Coming from my hero, my role model, the wisest man I know, my father. Piercing that awkward silence came his voice with his words, Son, you have totally lost your mind. A few months pass, I get the official admissions package in the mail, and I'm off to Cambridge. I'm off to Cambridge, an LLM degree takes only 1 year as opposed to the 3 of a JD. I graduate Cambridge, I return to Armenia. The laws of Armenia are such that you do not need to be a licensed attorney to own and run a law firm. So my friend and I set up a law firm, Legal Lab, and we run it as a business. And then a few years later, I think about, maybe I should rethink becoming a California licensed attorney. So I visit the California Bar website to check out the bar eligibility requirements, and it turns out that there is this little known exception that you do not need to have a JD in order to sit the California Bar exam if you are a licensed attorney in good standing in any jurisdiction around the world. So naturally, I turn my attention to the Armenian bar requirements, the bar of the Republic of Armenia, and it turns out that in the meantime, the rules have changed. No longer are you required to have a first law degree to become a licensed attorney in Armenia. All you need is an LLM, and I have one. So I register for the Armenian bar exam, I study for it, I take it, I pass on my first go. And then leveraging my Armenian attorney license, I apply to the California bar, I practice for it, I take it, I pass it in my one go, I pass it in one go, and I become a California licensed attorney. Almost a decade after filing my JD applications without having a JD degree. There is no one path to success. There is no one magical formula that you have to follow to be successful. You guys are trailblazers. You have to blaze your own trail to success, and you are going to define your own path to success. You are going to define your success. But what is success? After all, this speech is not about me. This speech is about you guys, and I'm here in order to impart pearls of wisdom and knowledge and advice for you guys to carry with you and to guide you as you leave these doors and into life itself. Let's talk about success. I want to share with you 3 tenets of success that are dear to me. There are many, but I want to emphasize these 3 specifically for tonight. Number 1, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You will have problems in life. That is natural. I will be happy. In fact, don't get me wrong. I will be happy when you have those problems because problems define us as individuals. I like to say that our problems are our wealth. Because it is through those problems, it is through toppling those problems that we become the person who we become. And so when you encounter these problems, embrace them. Embrace them as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become stronger as a person, to become a better person. Henry Ford has said, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, You are right. It is phenomenal how a seemingly unsolvable problem miraculously and instantly becomes solvable the moment you think to yourself, you can do it. And so when you encounter these problems and embrace them, I want that voice in your mind telling you, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And I don't know today what problems you will have tomorrow. I can only guess, but I can tell you for sure, you can do it. You can do it. Number 2, be mindful of your ego. It's important to have self-esteem. It's very important to be confident. Do not let that confidence spill over into arrogance. You are going to be successful. You are going to be very, very successful. I have no doubt. Do not let it get to your head. Do not let it get to your head. Don't let your arrogance, don't let your ego, conquer you. Instead, tame it. I want to share with you an exercise I do occasionally. I sit down, I take an object, usually a rock, and I throw it up. I throw it up, I watch it go up easily, and I watch it come down just as easily. But that rock has immense difficulty staying up there because of the law of gravity. Ego, like the law of gravity, sucks us down. The bigger your ego, the heavier your ego, the more difficulty you're going to have staying up there. To put it in the words of the great ancient Greek philosophers of the school of Stoicism, accept without arrogance and let go with indifference. Poetic, yes, but true nonetheless. In the words of a more modern American philosopher, be humble, sit down, be humble, sit down, Less poetic, yes, and only half true. It should have been be humble and keep climbing. And the third tenet of success, be at peace with yourself. Have peace of mind, have peace of soul, have a good conscience. Khzrtian makurini, Khzrtian hangislim. So that when you put your head to the pillow to sleep at night, you are content with yourself. You are content with who you are, with who you have become. Because by doing so, you know that your base is strong, your foundation is strong. You accept you for who you are. I did not learn this myself. This was passed down to me by my keri, my uncle, and it was passed down to him by his father, my grandfather. My keri pulls me aside one night and he says, nephew, every night before you go to sleep, after you've washed your face and brushed your teeth, look straight. Look straight into the mirror. Look into the mirror, straight into your eyes, make eye contact with that person staring back at you. And if you can do so without blinking, without flinching, without looking away, that means you have good conscience. That means you have lived your day rightfully, you have not cheated, you have not betrayed your friends or yourself, your values and your convictions. You have stood up for what's right, you have stood up for the underdog, you have stood up against bullies, you have spoken your mind regardless of how unpopular it is, and you have served your country. You accept yourself as you are, and no one can win you over. So ladies and gentlemen of the graduating class of 2018, tonight, after you're done living it up and partying very, very, very hard, when you eventually go home, look into the mirror, look straight into your eyes, and if you can do so without blinking, without flinching, without looking away, that simply means that you are sober. Thank you very much. Congratulations, you!